Hi guys, now the time has come for the GATE examination. Hardly 3 months are left for GATE examination. So the biggest question that comes to the mind of every GATE aspirant is how to efficiently revise the GATE course curriculum as the course is very wide. Okay, because many of you might have started forgetting the earlier done subjects, like you might have covered the network theory and all those subjects earlier. Now you might not be in touch with those subjects, so you might be getting tensed as to how to revise those subjects in addition to covering the subjects that are still not covered. So in this video, I'll be discussing with you a strategy in which you will be able to cover the subjects that are left out as well as you can revise the subjects that you have already covered. Okay, so that is we name it as a K plan. So we have named it as a K plan. It is just a strategy which you can follow in the coming months for the best results in the GATE examination. So here we will be designing the strategy for 3 months. That is your November, December and January, because most probably in the month of February GATE examination will be conducted. Now this strategy has been designed keeping in mind the previous year GATE analysis. Okay, why previous year? So that we can identify which topics are more relevant to any subjects and which are not so much relevant. Okay, now in this we have designed this plan based on the feedback from the GATE toppers and the experienced faculties. They have given us the feedback so as to we can design an efficient strategy which every student can follow. But remember, this is the minimum effort that is required. If you have more time, you can devote more time to the preparation and you can get even better results. But this is the minimum time that one must devote for efficient coverage of the GATE course. Now, here 3 months I am considering 90 days. In 90 days I have divided into two categories. 70 days for revision, then 20 days for mock test. Okay, remember I am calling mock test. I am not saying that subject test should also be done in this period. Subject test will be included in the revision period. Okay, so in that manner you can cover the GATE course and then do some mock tests. Now the first subject that you must start with is the network theory. Network theory forms the basic of many subjects. If you are very well aware of the circuit analysis, then you can cover many more subjects which are your power subjects. So you must ideally devote 7 days to the network theory, and the most important topics in this subject is the circuit analysis is the most important. You will be given a circuit and you can be asked the current in various parts of the circuit or the power consumed by different elements. The next important topic in this is the basics of inductors and capacitors. Like when inductors are connected in series, capacitors are connected in series and parallel, what will be the charge on a capacitor, what can be the maximum voltage across a capacitor. Such type of problems are very common in GATE examination. Network theorems is also very important. Most of the times you can see at least one problem from the network theorems. Then the next topic that is important is transient analysis. That is when you close or open a switch, what will be the response of a circuit. Okay. Other than that, two-port network, magnetically coupled circuit, these are hardly asked. So you can cover two-port network, but if you don't have time, you can even leave it out. Just study the parameters that are present for two-port network. Different type of parameters like transmission parameters, impedance parameter, admittance parameters. Now, the expected weightage of network theory is 8 to 10 marks. So this is one of the most important subject when it comes to GATE examination. Okay, so you must devote 7 days to it. In that you must target to solve at least 100 to 150 problems. Okay, plus you must revise the concepts using short notes, because Now is not the time when you will be picking up your bulky notes or your classroom notes and revising them page by page, because every subject will have classroom notes of almost 200 to 300 pages, but that will be very bulky for you and that will depress you at the least. Okay, you will get depressed. Then what will happen is, then you will not be able to focus on the task at hand. So better prepare short notes and then revise through those short notes and try to solve some of the selected problems, 100 to 150 problems in 7 days. Now the next subject that you should pick up is electrical machines. Here I have kept strategically electrical machines. Why? Because you must do one core and one non-core subject alternatively. Why? Because suppose if you are not able to complete the core subject within the due time, then it is easy to compress the non-core subject so that you can get some extra time. But if you are doing core subjects one after the other, then you will not be able to get those 1 or 2 extra days out of any core subject. So the leftover topics will kept piling up and in the end you won't be able to revise those concepts. So electrical machines, since it is one of the most important, one of the biggest subjects, you can devote 10 days to revising the electrical machine. Now electrical machine has only 4 units, which are transformer, DC machine, synchronous machine and induction machine, and none of the units you can leave out. But what you can do is, in synchronous machine you might have faced a lot of theoretical concepts. Those you can leave out and just concentrate on the numerical aspects, which are your EMF equation, which involves Kp, Kd, Kw, then circuit model, then power angle equation and salient pole. These sort of concepts you can prepare. No need to prepare each and every concept. And one also is the EMF method of voltage regulation, because from there you derive the synchronous impedance. If you cover these topics well, it is fine. Other than that, there are a lot of theoretical topics like parallel operation of the alternators, like hunting and all those phenomena. Those are not necessary to revise because that will make the chapter more bulky. And synchronous machine is the least important chapter in case of electrical machine. The most important is your induction machine. Induction machine and transformer are the two most important topics in machines. Try to practice almost 40 to 50 problems on each chapter during the revision time, because it is very necessary that you get very well versed with the electrical machines problems, because only numericals will be asked from this topic, and once you are able to decode the language of the problem, it will hardly be any problem to solve the question. Okay, and here also short notes are very important, because otherwise machines note will at least comprise of 2 registers of 200-300 pages. That is not humanly possible to revise within a span of 10 days. The next subject that you must proceed to is signals and systems. Now signals and system is one of the most important subjects in electrical engineering, but it is small also. So I am dedicating 5 days to it. Okay, but the weightage of signal and system is relevant. It is 8 to 10 marks. It is significant weightage. Now in signal and system, the most important topic is your LTI systems. This you must prepare well. The causality, stability, the linearity, those sort of concepts are very important in LTI systems, plus convolution. Convolution is also very important. Other than that, in this subject, the topics that will be covered is transforms. Out of transforms, the two most important are Fourier transform and Z transform. Almost every year you can observe 1 or 2 problems from these two transforms. Okay, from Fourier transform and Z transform, question is guaranteed. Laplace transform is also important because it forms the prerequisite for control system. Okay, but hardly there is a problem directly based on Laplace transform. It is a useful tool, but direct questions in GATE examinations are not that much frequent. But Z transform and Fourier transform are very important. Okay, here in case of transform, you must remember the properties of each and every transform, because properties are more or less similar, as well as you must remember some common transform. Okay, some transforms you must remember. The thing is, with the properties, it is not easy to memorize those properties, so it needs regular revision. So you must have a material handy with you in which you may have list down all the properties one after the other. Okay, no need to derive those properties, just remember the expressions for each and every property and keep on revising week after week. At least once in every week or once in 2 weeks, you must revise signals and systems. Otherwise, you will lose touch with those concepts and then you will be feeling very pressurized. The next subject that we must proceed to is power electronics. Now, power electronics is just like signals and systems here, because here you have to memorize the expressions. If someone is telling you don't memorize the expression, derive everything by waveform, it is not a recommended technique. I myself as a GATE topper, I do not recommend that you just learn the waveforms and do not memorize the formula, because 90% of the questions asked in the GATE examination from power electronics will be directly based on the formulas that you might have derived in your class or you may have studied from the book. So it is necessary to memorize those formula, but yet you must keep in back of your mind how those formulas are derived, because somehow if a tricky question is asked in GATE examination, then you must be able to draw the waveform and derive the expression. Power electronics carries 5 to 6 marks weightage in the GATE examination, and you must dedicate around 6 days for the power electronics course. In power electronics, the most important topics are power semiconductor devices, which involves thyristor most of all. Okay, thyristor is the most important device. Then rectifiers. These two are the most important topics in power electronics. Then choppers and inverters are small topics. So you can dedicate a day each to chopper and inverter and 2 days each to power semiconductor devices and rectifier. But make sure you solve a lot of problem in power electronics, because questions will be numerical only, and if you are very well acquainted on how to use what formula to be used and a small tips and tricks here and there, if you are well aware of those, then you will be able to hack any question of the power electronics. Yet I am saying the problems are not very trivial. It will be trivial to you once you solve a lot of questions. So don't get depressed if you are not able to solve many problems in power electronics, because it is not that easy also. Okay, it is very natural for you if you are not able to attempt a whole lot of problems. But once you see the solution for a problem, you must be able to solve such kind of problems in the future. So what I recommend to you is, whatever question bank you are referring to, make sure you have the solutions to that. Otherwise, you won't be able to know how to solve a problem which you might be having doubt. The next subject that you should try is control system. Control systems is also very important. 8 to 10 marks weightage is given to control system. Yet it is not a very bulky subject, so you can easily cover it in 7 days. The topics that are important in control system is, the most important topic is frequency response, which involves Nyquist plot, Bode plot. Almost every year there is a problem based on Bode plot. Okay. The next important topic in control systems is your state space analysis, which involves state transition matrix, controllability, observability. That also is a guaranteed question. Then transfer function, then stability, root locus. Okay, so this should be the order of precedence. If you are not able to complete, then you can leave out the control system design, which is the controllers and the compensators. Those are not very important, but these many topics you have to prepare well, because what is happening in GATE examination nowadays, they will ask one question from each and every chapter. If a subject has high weightage, let us say 10 marks weightage, then you can easily see one question from each and every chapter. So you cannot say that this chapter only will be asked. You will see the distributed paper from different topics. So that is why you must not leave any chapter, because that chapter can form at least 2 marks question in the GATE examination. And do not over prepare any topic, because none of the topics or none of the chapters will account for more than 2 to 3 marks in GATE examination. So do not focus specifically on any topic which is overdue or which is more than required. The next subject is measurement. Measurement, though it is a small subject, but 3 to 4 marks weightage is given to measurement in GATE examination. Since it is a small subject, you can complete it in 5 days. Here the most important topic is electromechanical instruments. And I am considering your wattmeter, ammeter, voltmeter, everything inside this electromechanical instruments. Voltmeter, ammeter, wattmeter, energy meter. These are important with respect to GATE examination. Though you might see in the GATE course, PMMC and all those things are not mentioned, but yet you must remember the expressions for PMMC, moving iron, dynamometer, torque expressions. Because one formula per instrument is not very hard to remember. Then the next topic is bridges. Bridges, no need to memorize the expressions. Just remember the formula that the product of opposite branches is equal for bridge balancing. Here Wheatstone bridge is also important, so do read about the sensitivity of the Wheatstone bridge. Next is CRO. In case of CRO, you must memorize the functioning of each and every part. What is the purpose of every part in a CRO? And then you must understand how to draw the Lissajous pattern. These are the important topics from the case of measurement. Okay. So dedicate 2 days to electromechanical instrument, then 1 day per topic in case of other chapters. Digital instruments is not very important. In digital instrument, just remember or just understand the 4.5 digit display or digital multimeter. The next topic is analog and digital. Now analog will cover around 4 to 5 marks. Digital electronics will be 3 to 4 marks. So this is around 8 to 10 marks totally, including microprocessor. Now you must dedicate 8 days to analog and digital completely. Okay, in analog, diode and op-amp are most important. After that, BJT biasing. If you are unable to understand the amplifier operation, you can leave it out because amplifier question comes very rarely. Now is not the time to sit and discuss the amplifier operation. In digital, sequential circuits are most important, and your basics like K-map and logic design. These are important. Combinational circuit are not that much important. Okay. Other than that, do study about ADC and DAC. Logic families you can leave out. Logic family is the least priority. If you are not able to cover, then you can leave it out. In case of microprocessor, you must understand the instructions. You must remember the instructions, because if there is a question from microprocessor, that will be based on instruction set. You will be given a program and you will be asked about the output of that program, or you will be asked what will be the value stored in a register, questions like that. For that, you must have a good understanding for each and every instruction in case of 8085 microprocessor. The next subject that you must move on to is power systems. In power systems, you can dedicate 10 days because it is a very wide topic. The weightage is fluctuating. It can be 3 to 4 marks as well as it can be even 10 to 15 marks. So I am not making any assumptions or I am not making any guess as to what will be the weightage, because power systems can surprise you in the GATE examination. Now the most important unit is transmission and distribution. Though this is very wide unit, but here you must understand how to solve a power system with a transmission line, 1 or 2 buses like that. You must understand how to solve that. Here power concept is very important. That is power in a transmission line. Surges are important. Compensation is important. Then parameters is also important. Inductance and capacitance. Simple formulas are there. Short, medium and long transmission line, those analysis are not very important. Other than that, UG cable, insulator, these are small topics out of which hardly 1 or 2 questions can be asked. But distribution system also you must study, because that involves just applying KVL and arriving at the result. The next unit is fault analysis. Nowadays, many innovative questions are being asked in fault analysis other than deriving the fault current. Now they are not directly asking you the fault current. So you must have a very good understanding of the fault power factor, the direction of the flow of current, concepts like that. Stability, it is not a very big topic and not very important with respect to GATE examination. Protection is also very rarely asked. Load flow is important. In this, Newton-Raphson method is important, and that too, what will be the order of the Jacobian matrix in case of Newton-Raphson method. Okay. So this is the course for the power systems. The next subject that you must go to is engineering maths. Engineering maths carries 10 to 15 marks weightage, and this is very wide, but you can cover it in 8 days. You can dedicate 1 day for each chapter. The units that are covered are linear algebra. This is one of the most important topics. Calculus, you can dedicate 1 day to linear algebra, 2 days to calculus. Differential equation, you can dedicate 1 day. Then complex analysis, you can dedicate 1 day. Probability, 1 day, because probability only involves solving problem, not many concepts are there. Then numerical methods, this you can look up, no need to go in depth, 1 day. Transforms you can leave out because transforms have been covered in signals and systems. Okay, so 1 day will be buffer with you. You can attempt any chapter in that. Okay, if you are not getting the time. The last subject that you must move on to is EMT. Now EMT has been recognized as a separate subject, so you can expect 4 to 6 marks weightage from EMT. But still it is a small unit, so 4 days are sufficient enough to cover. Here you must cover the basics of electrostatics, and I would recommend that you use a 12th standard book to cover these concepts, because in GATE examination very basic questions will be asked. They will not be based on the vector calculus concepts. And magnetostatics. In electrostatics, concepts like Gauss law, Coulomb's law, those you must be very well versed with. And the capacitors with dielectrics. In magnetostatics, you must be well versed with the directions of magnetic field when you apply Ampere's law, Biot-Savart's law, and laws like that. Okay. So this is important from this year onwards. Now, how to manage your time? This is a very big question, that how to manage the time with respect to revision as well as covering the new course. Now when you are covering the new course, I will be dividing the time management into 2 parts: weekdays and weekends. Okay, if you are a dropper, then you can follow the schedule of weekends on every day, because you will be having the same day each day. But if you are a fresher, or you are studying in college, or you are in a job, then you must divide your time based on weekdays and weekends. In weekdays, how much time you can devote is, you can devote at least 2 hours for revision. I am assuming you will be studying 4 hours each day. So 2 hours for revision and 2 hours for new concept. Now how to divide these 2 hours for revision? You can divide it into 1 hour for problem solving, then half hour for concepts that I told you must revise using short notes, and half hour for doubts. Okay, whatever are your doubts, you can discuss it. You can come to our Facebook group, that is your GATE Aspirants group. There you can ask any doubts and it will be cleared in a span of minutes only, because now there are many members and they are active too, so they will clear your doubt very quickly. In weekends, how much time you can dedicate is around 6 hours. If you are dedicating 6 hours, out of that 2.5 hours must be kept for problem solving, that is solving the questions or numerical questions. Then 1 hour for concept, okay, that you must prepare using short notes. Then what you can do is 1 hour you can keep for your previous subject. Once you have the short notes, you can revise the previous subjects that you must dedicate 1 hour on weekend. And then how much time we have left is 1.5 hour. 1.5 hours you can dedicate to doubt solving plus leftover topic. Whatever is the leftover in the weekday, if you were not able to cover, you can dedicate 1.5 hours to those concepts. Okay. If you can dedicate more than this time, it is very good. If you cannot, then this is the minimum time that you must devote in order to cover the subjects as well as revise accordingly. Then how to incorporate the test series in your schedule. Now, if you are dedicating almost 1 week for each subject, then try to attempt subject test on completion of any subject. Okay, once the subject revision is completed, you must attempt a subject test. Rather, you can give 2 subject tests per subject once your subject is completed. Then, when you are done in 70 days, your revision is done. In rest of the 20 days, you can attempt 10 to 15 mock tests. The strategy for attempting mock test is, it is a 3-stage procedure. Attempt a mock test, analyze whatever is your result, whether you have performed well or not. If you haven't performed well in some of the topics, try to identify those topics. Like if I haven't done in machines, in what chapter of the machine specifically I haven't been able to score well, whether it is transformers or induction machine. If you are able to identify such way, then you will be able to revise those concepts. So the next stage will be revise. Okay, how to revise that? Revise using short notes and then attempt a subject test based on those concepts which you were not able to do well. In this way, if you maintain this cycle, you will see that your results are gradually improving. And I would recommend that don't go after these many marks you must get. Like some students will go after, like, I must get 70 marks in the first test. That is not possible. Rather, what you must be targeting is continuous improvement. If I am able to start with 40 marks in first test, what I must target is, in every test I must see improvement. And improvement not in terms of just marks, improvement in terms of AIR. Okay, because sometimes the test may be difficult, so you may be scoring low, but your AIR must gradually improve. If you are able to achieve that, then you will definitely do well in GATE examination. So don't get depressed if you are not able to score well in your first test. Don't take it as a negative sign and stop doing the tests. Because many students will take it as a negative sign and they will go back to revision and won't attempt any more tests. Because test series is the most important part of your GATE prep. Okay. So do not leave it at any cost. No matter you are scoring well or not, you must attempt more and more number of tests. So this way you can start doing the test series. So test series you can start doing right away once you have your revision plan ready. Then certain tips and tricks that you can follow is, now online calculator is being used in GATE examination. So how to tackle that is, practice 10 problems each day on any online calculator. Okay, not necessary whatever is being provided by different coachings. Just search on Google for an online calculator. Just start doing problems based on that using mouse. Because in GATE examination you won't be allowed to use keyboard. You will have to use the mouse. So it will make your speed faster so that your time will be saved when you will be performing calculations in the GATE examination. Okay. Other than that, one thing that I would recommend is good health. Because this is the time then many of you will be falling ill, you will be losing a lot of time. So keep good health by eating healthy. Okay, don't go after junk food, as well as having good sleep. Don't oversleep or undersleep. Just sleep for 6 to 8 hours each day. Okay. And other than that, don't waste your time in co-curricular activities, because now is not the time to enjoy. Now is the time to go full throttle on the GATE preparation. Okay. So other than that, if you have any specific queries, that you can mail me or you can ask on the GATE Aspirants group. We will be happy to clear. Now, how to implement this revision is, we have launched two products. One is our Krash, which you can look it up on the website, which is www.kreatryx.com. Now, how Krash can help you in your revision? The Krash will comprise of 40 to 50 pages short notes for each subject. From those short notes, you will get a fair idea of what is relevant and what is not relevant. And you can keep it handy with you, so that whenever you are feeling you are missing out on some topic and you are not able to remember, you can just look it up and revise those concepts. Even if you are going to college, you can carry the Krash booklet and just browse through the short notes, so to keep the formulas and the important concepts fresh in your mind. And it will have 80 to 100 problems per subject, that too fully solved. Okay, how it will help you is, because in the end time you will not be able to solve 300-400 problems. So these 80 to 100 problems have been strategically chosen by Kreatryx team and the GATE toppers, so that you get very fair idea of each type of problem that can be asked in GATE examination. These problems have been divided into different types. So there are 18 to 20 types per subject. Okay, that means these are the type of questions that can be asked in GATE examination. So you get a very well idea of the spectrum of the GATE examination, what can be asked and what cannot be. Other than this, soon we will be launching K-Test, which you can do. It will have 34 subject tests and 10 mock tests. Now, what is different about K-Test from other test series is that we will be strategically choosing each and every question, so that the questions are of GATE level and none of the questions from any irrelevant concept which is not covered in GATE examination is asked. Because in most of the test series, questions from GATE and IES course will be asked, so you will not get a fair idea of what is there in the GATE course and what is not. So we handpick the questions ourselves, so that you don't get depressed and you get what is required for the GATE examination. You can check out our website to know more details, and in case you have any query, you can mail us for those queries. We will be happy to answer your queries. So I hope this plan helps you a lot in your GATE preparation, and do try to follow this plan. Though you can shuffle the order of the subjects, but try to maintain the speed and try to maintain that tempo in the last 3 months, and I can assure you these last 3 months will be most crucial for your GATE preparation. Okay, so hope to see many rankers following this plan, and if you have any problems and if you want to get any guidance like that, you can mail us. Thank you.